Well, good morning. A little bit after 5 o'clock a.m. Out here letting Luther out for his morning potty break. And had a subject come into my mind last night. Got to thinking about this. And that subject, of course, you can tell by the title. What would you do with $1 billion? Billion with a B. Billion. Saw a little short video here of Casey Pooch. He was running for governor in Ohio, and he lost to the very wicked Vivek Ramaswamy, because Vivek is a billionaire, and Casey said there's something like 900 plus billionaires. In his little video, he said, I forget what it was, 930 or some number, over 900 billionaires right now in America, and how that this is terrible, and of course they're running America, and they are. The billionaire Epstein class, they're running America, and this is not good for America. And you know, you think to yourself, it's just not fair that they're billionaires. But there's a different angle that you can look at it. You see, why are they billionaires? Well, if you go to Zimbabwe, I guess they might have had their currency reset by now, but you know, back in the day, they were having $1 trillion. I think $100 trillion bills were circulated. I did a video many years ago showing one of those. Every nation that hyperinflates, eventually you can become a billionaire. I mean, give it a couple of years, we'll probably all be billionaires. So the question is, the US dollar, is it really worth that much? And the answer is no. See, the reason there's a lot of billionaires is because the dollar is hyperinflating. Has been for a long time. It's a slow hyperinflation, I'll grant you that. But these people amass this, all this, money, if you want to call the dollar US dollar money, but real money. And they look like, oh, they're so wealthy and everything else. But what they're really doing is, the reason that there's an increase in billionaires is because they're trying to prop up the dollar. And to illustrate my point, okay, you get $1 billion. What are you going to spend it on? You say, most of, American people would be kind of simple-minded, and they'd say, well, I'd go out to eat at a really fancy restaurant or something, and I'd buy whatever car I want or something. Okay, that's not billionaire type of stuff. Okay, that would be probably millionaire type of thing. No, billionaire, you have to think large, you have to think big, you have to think of investments and things like that. How do you spend that kind of money? Because if you keep it in the bank and just say, well, I would just live and I'd live off of that for the rest of my life. No, you wouldn't, because it's hyperinflating. You see what I'm saying? You can't just say, well, I would live a nice, comfortable life with $1 billion. Because in a few years, $1 billion could just be, eventually it's going to be toilet paper. Just like the Deutsche Marks back in the Weimar Republic. The Zimbabwe dollar, all that stuff, it eventually just becomes useless. So, you can't just live off of it for the rest of your life. So, what do? Do you buy a bunch of exotic cars or something? Well, then you have insurance and you have to keep those things up and whatever. How about buy a bunch of land? Well, then you have to pay property tax. And when the dollar value when things get revalued, is your land going to be worth anything? Well, land probably would be one of your better purchase ideas. But again, you see, what do you do with $1 billion? I remember hearing a young woman the one time, and she was investment type of thing and whatever, and she said that she actually met a billionaire the one time, and she saw him at some conference or something, and she went up and she was talking to him, and she said, oh, it's my dream to be a billionaire. And she said he literally looked at her and he said, why? Do you realize how much of a headache it is to be a billionaire? And it is. Kind of goes along with what the Bible teaches, if you don't understand the scriptures. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 9 through 10. Luther, come here. How's this thing for heading over to the neighbor's yard? You know, always the place where he's not supposed to be. He's always kind of tempted to go that way. Luther has a lot of valuable lessons to him. Come here, boy. Come on. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 9 says, "But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows." The Holy Word of God, the King James Bible. Very interesting. People that fall in love with money actually end up falling into a very toxic lifestyle. Just like these billionaires. Why did the billionaire Epstein class and everything, and again, Epstein wasn't just some pervert, that some adult film guy or some kind, he was an investment banker. A financial guy, and that's what got him messed up. That and other things like the Talmud, which is where that's like the instructions for their higher level, how to become a billionaire and how to get control of people and make people into your debt slaves and everything else. I have the volumes of it, that's why I'm saying that. And so, and as far as that's concerned too, by the way, I am still planning to do some future videos on, more videos on the Talmud, showing the stuff inside of it and whatever else, the evil teachings of it. But there's a bunch of other projects that have come up. So, but these people, they get into this whole thing and they make it look like, oh, look at us, we're so great and whatever else. I heard Donald Trump actually made $4 billion more. Why? Oh, he's sick mentally. Again, you know, if they can get themselves into political positions, Luther, come here. If they can get themselves into political positions, they will use their political positions to enrich themselves, and they will kill people and do whatever they have to do to make that money. Do you want that on your conscience? If you're a billionaire, you're not going to get there by good hard work. Like I did the one video in my shop over here to my left, and I said there isn't anything I can do in this shop to become a billionaire. It's not possible. Billionaires are created through fraternal connections and through scheming and things, and running different scams and insider trading and whatever else. They affect certain things, and then they'll spy or sell stocks accordingly to make themselves lots of money. That's how they do it. And what happens with that? Well, they're earning their damnation. Their damnation is just. And the Lord Jesus Christ talks about how hardly shall they that trust in riches enter into the kingdom of heaven. You get to this point of this money sickness where you think that you need more and more and more and more, and you hit $1 billion, you say, what do you want? I want another $1 billion. Oh yeah, what can I do with another $1 billion? And you have to serve the devil to do that. So don't lust after those types of things. And quite frankly, the American people need to work hard to ban billionaires from government positions. And although I guess eventually, like I said earlier, everybody's going to be a billionaire because the currency is going to hyperinflate. So, but going forward, we have to pray hard against these billionaires and expose them for what they are. And if you're worshiping Donald Trump and saying he's a great man and whatever else, you need to check yourself. Okay, you really do. They don't get there by being good, moral people. And Donald Trump is a pervert. I've been saying that for years. He's trained by the Jesuit order. If you don't understand that, you better look into the Jesuits. And so that's going to be it. Need to get some work done today, so just wanted to do a real quick video. So thank you very much for subscribing to the channel. I know that matters and things. I'm not monetized, so, but you know, it still helps to get the videos out there, helps to get the truth out there. And I guess that's going to be it. See you in the lip. If I can talk. It's early, so you know. But we'll see you in the next video. Alright, back inside here, down in the basement with all the books. Not all the books, we still have to make some more bookshelves over that way, but another story. But another point I forgot to mention when I was out there, what would you do if you had $1 billion? Well, I'm a big precious metals advocate, but if you had $1 billion, how would you buy precious metals with that? Let's say you just want to go into a coin shop or someplace and you say, I'd like to buy $1 billion in precious metals. Gold and silver, platinum, whatever else you can get your hands on. If you'd even be allowed to do that, which I don't think you'd be allowed to. I don't think the government would be okay with somebody owning $1 billion in precious metals. But if you could, where would you store it? And if you could find a place to store it, I mean, we're on a concrete floor here, but if you could find a place to store it that, you know, it'd be a lot of weight, where would you want to go, and where could you go and feel safe with your $1 billion in precious metals in this vault or something? You know what I'm saying? Having $1 billion is not a good thing. All you can do is just reinvest it into the failing system. That's what these guys are doing. So again, don't be envious of these people for having $1 billion. It's actually a curse, having that kind of money with the corruption of the dollar the way that it is. You're trying to help keep this country going, and that's again why Trump took all these CEOs of the 20 biggest companies in America, takes them over to China. Why? To show Xi Jinping, hey, you know, we're still, the dollar's still good. We still have plans. We want to build these data mining centers, and we're going to do something. Don't dump the dollar yet, because China owns a lot of the U.S. Treasury bonds. So Japan owns, I think, the most or something. And a lot of them are just saying, hey, we just want to drop this. Well, when that happens, Trump and all of his billionaire buddies, they're going to find that their billions of dollars are not worth anything. So don't trust in uncertain riches. All right, that's going to be it. Thank you for watching.